Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another PlayStation 4 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the integration between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita. Now, don't really pay that much attention to my messy desktop because I know it's messy. You guys don't have to tell me about that. It is incredibly messy, particularly now that I've had to add another console to the layout of things. So yeah, I'm still working things out, but either way, let's focus on what's important for this video, which is the integration of PlayStation 4 and Vita. So right now, my PlayStation 4 is in standby mode, and I've already configured my PlayStation Vita previously with the PlayStation 4. So let me just show you what is actually possible. So for starters, you can actually just flat out, oops, I think the volume's a little loud here. I don't want to burst anyone's eardrums. But for starters, you can basically wake up your PlayStation with the PlayStation Vita. Now, this was already possible with the PlayStation 3, but with the PlayStation Vita, you can actually play a lot of games, whereas with the PlayStation 3, it was not that many games. It was like a really small list of games that were actually supported. Either way, let's get started. You have to basically go to PS4 Link over here, which is an application that should be in every single Vita if you've updated to the most recent firmware, which I believe the latest version of it is like 3.0 or something. Either way, once you get to that screen, if you look at my Vita, you get two choices. You can either do remote play or you can do second screen experience. Now, I don't know of any of the titles that I have, if any of them actually have the second screen experience, but it can be done through here. It can also be done through your smartphone, like your Android or iOS device. They can also do the second screen experience. However, I do not believe that they can do remote play. Either way, once you hit remote play, it is going to basically start looking for your PlayStation 4, and it is now turning it on, as you can see. I'm not sure if you heard the beeping of the PlayStation turning on. As you can see, the screen is now there. The PlayStation is on that screen that you guys see. And here we go. We are currently connected to the PlayStation 4. And now if you notice, as I move stuff on the PlayStation 4, it's pretty much one-to-one. Now, the Vita isn't actually outputting 60 frames a second, that's for damn sure. It's probably either 25, 30, I'm not 100% sure what the frame rate is for the Vita. Now, my PlayStation is actually installing a whole bunch of stuff. The reasoning behind that is I've had a couple of issues with getting my PlayStation to resume after entering standby. I'll probably make a whole nother video on that particular topic, but either way, as you can see, it is now working fine, and we can play any of these titles here, I believe. I'm not sure if any of the titles currently do not support it. I definitely know that you can play Killzone Shadowfall, although that is not the current Blu-ray disc that's inside the console. So we're going to be playing some Resogun on the Vita, and after that, I will show you guys just a little bit of knack. You can also adjust your screen and whatnot. And my Vita is actually low on battery, which is pretty bad. Oh yeah, this is asking me to adjust because I haven't actually adjusted it yet. I just recently formatted my PlayStation 4, so I'm sorry about that. Either way, we're not going to be messing with that. We're just going to start as is. I'm going to try and put this in focus. It's actually pretty hard to play like this because like I'm holding the Vita sideways. But I just want to show you guys what the experience is like. And you can see it on the screen as well. If you look at the screen right there, you'll notice that it is mimicking exactly everything that's on the Vita. Obviously, you can also turn it off because it seems to be pretty redundant if you're actually using both devices at the same time using the screen. However, it does allow you to use the Vita as a controller, and I will explain that in a couple of seconds. Either way, let's just get into the game so that you guys can see what you can expect. Rookie experience, and we're going to go with Rookie again. Let's take the Phobos. I haven't really took the Phobos yet. Let's go to the Febris. I'm trying to put the emphasis on the Vita so that you guys can kind of see the quality. Although, obviously, recording Vita footage is, as usual, awkward as all hell.
Save the last humans.
I'm actually looking at the screen, not really the Vita. But as you can see, game works fine. No issues whatsoever.
Keepers detected.
There's the keepers. Let's see if we can save at least one human, shall we? Now, you're actually going to be using the back touchpad as R2 and L2 when you're controlling with the Vita. Now, some games already know about this, like, for instance, Killzone, and it will actually try to reassign the triggers so that you don't really have to use R2 and L2 to shoot and aim. And it actually uses the upper triggers of the Vita for that particular title. Either way, let me see if I can actually click the back of it. There, see? You touch the back touch there, and that's what does the R2. So either way, this is Resogun. Then, once you actually want to get back to your PlayStation 3, you just press the PlayStation button on the Vita, and it will pop up this thing which allows you to go into the PS4 button. You can also hold it pressed, and it will give you the menus to close the application and all that other stuff. So let's close the application there. Let me show you guys Knack so that you guys can see that you can also, it's not just about digital games, you can run the Blu-ray games as well. Pretty sure Knack works, right? Yeah, I think it does. So far, I don't think I've actually came across any titles that don't work. As you can see, still mimicking the image on the other screen. Now, Knack doesn't really use R2 or L2, so it becomes it doesn't even use triggers, so it becomes a really easy game to play on your PlayStation Vita. It's just loading up here. This is kind of an awkward video for me to do because I'm just looking sideways and stuff into the camera, making sure that the Vita is looking somewhat decent. Come on, Knack, you can do it. You can load. There we go. Continue. Just going to continue in the level that I was at. I'm not even sure how big the level is or whatever. Just trying to show you guys some gameplay footage so that you can see it actually running on the Vita properly. It also shows you that screen over there whenever you hit something, telling you which area of the touch screen you're hitting. And you might think, well, that's kind of useless. No, it's actually pretty useful so that if you see, oh, I'm actually hitting the lower portion of it, and I need to be hitting the upper portion to get the desired effect, you know that you need to adjust your fingers. It's still not easy to use the R2 and L2 functionality, that's for sure. The reason why this load is taking so much time is because it's actually the first time I'm running Knack on my Vita after the format. Okay, so as you can see, here's Knack. Just bitch slapping a couple of people here, getting a couple of power-ups. I actually had a lot of fun with this game last night too. I was playing this, and all of a sudden, I just, like I mentioned on my Twitter feed, for those of you who follow me, as well as on my Facebook page, I started playing this game and all of a sudden 2 hours had gone by and I'm like, what the hell happened? But as you can see, the game runs fine on the Vita. Obviously, your performance is going to vary depending on how far away you are from your router. Here's a cool thing that I actually like doing. You can actually pick up tanks and toss them around. It's pretty cool. As you can see, there's obviously a frame drop in regards to the Vita, like if you just look at it on screen right now. It's running at full 60 frames a second, 1080p, and if you look at it on the Vita, it has a slight frame drop, as is to be expected, because it is streaming to the Vita. Oh, we're having a little bit of lag here. The thing is, we have to bear something else in mind, which is, this is actually not the ideal environment for me to stream this to the Vita, because look here, I'm using a router, which is actually a really small router, and it's not that powerful, and at the same time as I'm live streaming stuff, not live streaming, I'm streaming stuff from my PlayStation 4 to my Vita, and I'm downloading DC Universe Online, downloading Warframe, downloading War Thunder, and installing, I'm not sure if this is installing or downloading Contrast. So it's doing all these network things at the same time. That's why you guys are experiencing some poor performance on Knack. But it still works, it still runs fine. You guys saw a little bit of artifact earlier, but it's like, I'm testing this under the most strenuous conditions possible, and the damn thing is still running fine, so there's not a whole lot more that you can really ask from it. Either way, let's get out of here. I wanted to show you guys something else. Like, a lot of people are probably wondering if you can actually use the PlayStation Vita as a second controller, and the official explanation is no, you can't. The unofficial explanation, and I'm not sure if this is going to be patched or removed later on, is that you actually can, although it's not, you're not really using the Vita as a second controller. You can use the Vita as the primary controller. So right now, I'm actually logged into my PlayStation 4 as my main user with my Vita, right? So I'm player 1 right now. So let's go into NAC. Again, I actually closed NAC off, but we're going to go in there again because you can actually play NAC co-op. I've actually never seen NAC in co-op. I'm not sure if you have to do something special or whatever. But you connect your Vita as the primary controller, and then let me just get to the menu here. Okay, so the Vita is control number 1, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hook up my Dualshock, which is actually already connected, and my Dualshock is connected as user 1. So it is a different user than my main user, so to speak. So it's kind of like player 2. Right now it's shining bright red. So I need to press the PlayStation button to switch to my screen. And now if we go into NAC, we should be able to continue. And now I believe that we should be able to just do something with the DualShock. I actually haven't tested this. It's like, I'm a really professional guy, but I haven't really tested this whole solution of using your DualShock 4 as the secondary controller whilst using the Vita as your primary controller. But either way, it should be fairly simple. Just waiting on the game to load here. There. As you can see, we've basically summoned up the robo thing, whatever that thing is supposed to be. And he can help NAC beat the crap out of stuff. Because as I said previously, this game is co-op. So as you can see, we currently have full 2-player support by using only a DualShock 4 controller and a PlayStation Vita. So what you got to do is you basically have to use your DualShock to log in with a different username than the username your Vita has, and you can use it as a secondary controller. So that's kind of a cheap way to get yourself well, not really a cheap way, but if you already own a Vita, you can save up on a controller at the moment. Come on, focus, camera, jeez. You can save up on a controller at the moment by using the Vita as your primary controller and using the PlayStation, the DualShock 4 actually, as your secondary controller. I'm sorry, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of awkward to film this, but you can totally do that, which is another neat little Vita integration feature for you right there. So I definitely appreciate that, and it's going to allow me to do co-op with my friends because I only have one controller at the moment. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome, and I hope this helps you guys in any way, shape, or form. Either way, now I'm going to go over the configurations and all the other stuff that you can do with it. Well, there's not a whole lot more that you can do with the Vita per se. There's the second screen experience, but I don't really know of any of the titles that I have here that have that second screen experience. The other thing I want to talk about is also the DualShock 4. Now, I've spoken a little bit about the DualShock 4. Didn't really give a lot of details, and I thought I'd just mention it again in this video because it's hard to make one video just to talk about the controller because, in all honesty, there's not that much difference if you look between the DualShock 4, sorry, it's hard to position it on the camera, and the DualShock 3. So if you look at it, you can see that the analog sticks are a little bit further apart than on the DualShock 3. The handles are a little bit longer, and they actually have this sleek little material on the back, which is, it's not rubberized, but it's some kind of different plastic that feels nice. The triggers are obviously a lot better. Let me see if I can put this in a position. There, you see how they're concave now, and they don't slip off, like right there. Like if you look at the PlayStation 3 ones, like everybody knows this, but the PlayStation 3, the DualShock 3 triggers were not that great. I mean, just see how they slide off? PlayStation 4 ones do not, the DualShock 4 ones do not slide off. So this is obviously a big improvement. You also switched the select buttons and the select and start buttons for the share and options buttons. I haven't used sharing a whole lot, so I can't talk about too much about it. The options button seems to work fine, but obviously their placing is going to take a little bit getting used to for some people, at least. The buttons, they feel fine. They feel exactly the same as the PlayStation 3. Some people have said that the analog stick is a little bit different, but unfortunately I currently have a minor injury in this finger, which doesn't really allow me to get the full perception of the analog stick because it starts to hurt my finger. Either way, there's also the two analog sticks. They feel a lot better. One of the things that I really like is if you notice how they have this ring around it, it makes sure that it doesn't slip like on the PlayStation 3 ones. It doesn't have. I keep saying the PlayStation 3. The DualShock 3 ones don't have that. So, although I never really had the issue of slipping, a lot of people complain that they slip. To me, they don't slip that much, but the new ones do feel a lot better. They're also tighter, like they have more resistance. Whereas these one are the DualShock 3 ones are a lot more loose. The DualShock 4 ones have more resistance, so it all depends on whether or not you prefer them more resistant or more loose. Personally, I kind of don't have a problem with either, so it works fine for me. So you got your D-pad, you got your analog sticks. They both work fine. They're further apart. And now you have this speaker here, which is actually really cool. Resogun uses it. As a matter of fact, you guys probably noticed in my Resogun video, there's probably some feedback going into the microphone from the sound that's coming off of the speaker on the DualShock. You also have an input here, which is very convenient. You can just plug in your headphones directly here. Any headphones will work. They have a proper headset if you want to do that. I've been told, I haven't tested it. I've been told that like the iPhone earbuds, they also work, and the microphone on them also works, which was really surprising for me. I would not expect that. But like I said, I haven't tested that yet, so I can't really say too much about it. Overall, I feel that it is a vast upgrade to the DualShock 3, despite the fact there aren't that many changes. Because here's the thing. To me personally, I really enjoyed the DualShock 3. As you guys know, I used DualShock 3 to play Dark Souls on my PC. I just had that thing that made the PC think that it was a 360 controller or whatever, because obviously X input is a big deal on the PCs. I haven't tested the DualShock 4 out on the PC just yet, because I don't think it's going to be like fully supported yet. They need to come up with some kind of a driver, some kind of standard. So I'm not that concerned about it right now, because one of the things about using the DualShock 3 as an Xbox 360 controller on the PC is the fact that games already have everything mapped out for you. It is very convenient. But using the DualShock 4, if you're going to have to be doing a manual binding, which I believe is going to be the case at the moment, it's not that convenient, is it? Either way, there's also the touchpad, which I haven't really used all that much because the games I've been playing don't really make that much use of it. Now, Killzone, you can use it to do owl commands, like you swipe it to the right and it does something, you swipe it up, does something else, you swipe it down, does something else. But apart from that, I haven't really seen any usage of it, and I think, let me just go, actually, I need to log out and log in with my own user. Give me just a second. So this is another thing. You can actually use your DualShock to log in as different users. So this is good if you have friends over and you're doing some kind of co-op game, couch co-op. They're going to be getting the trophies anyways on their own account, if they don't mind logging into their account on your console. Either way, let's actually press the button here. It's going to connect us. I'm going to select my main account. There we go. Now the thing that I wanted to check out, I just wanted to show you guys something which I feel could have been something that they should have implemented, and they really didn't. But let's go over here, search, enter URL. Let's go to Rurikhan.com. This is just to show you guys something really quick here. There we go. Put that in full screen. Now, this browser isn't amazing, but it gets the job done. Now, the thing is, I see a really big missed opportunity here, which is, why can't you just scroll? Wait, you can? It seemed like it moved. No, it's not really doing anything. But the thing is, why can't you just scroll, like use the cursor that you guys see there on screen? Why can't you do that with the touchpad? Like, it seems like such an easy thing to just get it done, that you would just use this as with the touchpad, and I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Maybe they'll do it in a future update or something. But right now, I see this as a really missed opportunity for the DualShock 4. The other feature DualShock 4 has, as everybody knows, is this light. And this light, to be completely honest, I don't like it. I wish I could turn it off because I don't have the camera, right? I didn't buy the camera. So the fact that this light is turned on is useless. It is completely useless. It does nothing for me. However, I do have to admit, if you're playing, the title that I saw that this was working with was Warframe. If you're playing Warframe in the dark, this light actually switches colors as people shoot at you. So it gives you kind of an interesting effect, like it shines all over the place and bright lights come out of it and stuff. So if you're playing in the dark, I guess it gives you an extra layer of immersion. But I feel that should be optional and that we should be able to turn this off to get some more battery out of it. But unfortunately, we can't. Also, this this socket over here, whatever, where you plug in your USB, is a different USB from your DualShock 3. So you cannot, if the camera would bother focusing, dude, can you focus, please? Guess not. It's too focused on the screen. Either way, it's different. It's basically a different USB connection, so you can't use it with your DualShock 3s. Now, in terms of configuring your PS Vita, for those of you who are wondering how you can do that, it is actually incredibly easy. All you got to do is you go into your settings on the PlayStation 4, and in your settings there's actually going to be two things here, which are PlayStation app connection settings. This is important if you want to sync up your iPhone or Android device or whatever. You can do that here, and it is very basic. You just pick add device, and then you just go on to whatever your iDevice, your Android device, and you go to the PlayStation app, and you say connect to PlayStation 4. It's going to start looking. You have to be connected to the same wireless network as your PlayStation 4, obviously, or a network that can communicate with your PlayStation 4 somehow, like you can go through a wireless router, and then the router might be physically connected to the PlayStation 4 if you so desire. Should work flawlessly, and then it's going to ask you to enter in this code and that is going to fix it for you. As you can see, my iPhone's already connected in here. Then there is your PlayStation Vita connection settings, which you can just click add device as well. Then you go to PlayStation Vita, to the application that I showed you previously on this video, the PS4 Link, and just say connect to the PlayStation 4 remote play, and it's going to ask you for a code. You put in the code and it will instantly take you to the same screen that you guys saw earlier in the video. It is that simple, no hassle. There's also an option here which says connect directly with the PlayStation Vita. This is in case, suppose for instance, you do not have a wireless router. It is a possibility, and if you do not have a wireless router, do not worry, because you can still connect to the PlayStation 4 via Wi-Fi. Let's say you have the PlayStation 4 connected physically because you don't have a wireless router. And then you turn on this setting, and your Vita is going to be able to talk with your PlayStation 4 through the PlayStation 4 Wi-Fi. So obviously, the performance that you guys saw earlier may depend on the distance that you are of either your PlayStation 4, if you're using that as your Wi-Fi connection, or how far away you are from your router. Obviously, you need to be fairly close, and you need to get a pretty decent Wi-Fi signal, because it is basically pumping out a lot of information through your Wi-Fi connection. So also, if there's a lot of people using your Wi-Fi connection, you're going to see problems there as well. So both distance as well as the quality of signal are going to be a big impact on how your PlayStation Vita is going to perform whilst you're doing remote play. I hope this video was useful for you. As per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. Me personally, when it comes down to this feature, I think it is an awesome feature to have. As a matter of fact, I'd like it if Sony went back and did what they promised, which was to do the same thing for the PlayStation 3, because I want to be able to play both the PlayStation 3 as well as the PlayStation 4 with my PlayStation Vita. And currently on the PlayStation 3, as we all know, that functionality is incredibly limited. And not only that, there's also something else they could do, which I don't know if they didn't think about it or they already thought about it and they're working on it. But I mean, let's face it, a lot of the people who purchased PlayStation 4s actually own PlayStation 3s as well. So why exactly aren't you allowing this Gaikai technology to stream from your PlayStation 3 to your PlayStation 4? And then you could have your PlayStation 3 in a different room or something, or someplace else, just connected via physical cable or connected via Wi-Fi, whatever. The possibilities are limitless. But the thing is, then you could actually have your PlayStation 3 just stream to your PlayStation 4, and we all know it's possible because the PlayStation 3 is already partially doing it to the PlayStation Vita, so it shouldn't be that hard to get it to do the same thing for PlayStation 4, and that would give some people backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 4. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, if you're going through all that trouble, why not just connect the PlayStation 3? Because that way you could actually move the PlayStation 3 somewhere else outside of your living room or whatever if you don't have enough space. Or in my case, it's like my office is a complete mess because now I have both the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4, and they're both connected and through an HDMI splitter and whatnot. And it's just, I would just much rather have it stream stuff over to the PlayStation 4. It would be a lot more convenient. Another thing that I would really, really, really like to see, but most likely is never going to happen, is I would like to actually see the PlayStation Vita stream to the PlayStation 4. So the reverse of what you guys saw in this video, so that I could play, for instance, Soul Sacrifice on the screen where my PlayStation 4 is connected. Of course, this is most likely never going to happen because, as we know, Sony came up with the PlayStation Vita TV, which is incredibly unfortunate. I mean, not unfortunate that they came up with the Vita TV, but it is unfortunate because most likely they will not put in this feature, which would be awesome. So yeah, I would very much like to see the PlayStation Vita stream to the PlayStation 4, but I highly doubt it's ever going to happen. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.